You have to ask the tough questions last, I suppose. Work-life lessons. One of them, actually, I learned working with a fellow here in Toronto. He was a client of mine when I was at CBRE. His name is Bill Jandridis. He had been at the Royal Bank of Canada, and he spent a lot of time helping his younger folks learn and grow. And so I have taken that myself, and I make a big point of that, of helping to get my younger folks working with me up to speed and teaching them a lot more, because I become more productive when they're more productive. And beyond that, the other thing it does, it fosters good long-term relationships. Here at this conference, I've run into folks who I worked with 20 years ago with Bill Jandridis on projects like that. And it's just great seeing what they're doing now. And I only imagine what 20 years from now, some of the folks that I'm working with today, some of these folks just out of college, what kind of great things they're going to be doing. But fostering those relationships and helping these younger folks grow, that's something I learned that I'm trying to incorporate into what I'm doing at Real Capital Analytics now.
I think you learn a life lesson every day in this business. One of the things I learned early on was that you need a little bit of fear to be successful. And I'm often afraid of the decisions and the future that lies ahead, and that makes me work harder and think deeper about the risks that we face and help manage those. I can think of 3 points in my career where I was absolutely terrified, and it were really the biggest growth moments for my career as well. So a little bit of fear is healthy, I think.
I think in terms of my career, I was taught very early on, don't worry about what my colleagues are doing, worry about what I'm doing. And the intent of my boss was to say, focus on you. What are your goals and objectives? What are you here to achieve for the organization and the greater good? Don't get caught up in the politics of what your colleagues are doing or not doing.
You know, I'm not sure I have a single life work incident. I'll comment on something I've certainly learned after having worked in this industry for 30 years and having a family that's been involved in this industry for probably 90 years before I came around. Don't follow the money. From the time that you're young, figure out what really engages you, what you find really compelling. Work either for a company or people that you respect and have integrity and that you can learn something from. Work hard. I'm still a believer in the work ethic. If you do all of those things, money will follow. That would be my first comment. And in terms of working with the development industry, it's refreshing because so much of what I do is with institutional owners and with pension funds. The development world is still the one piece of the industry where there's colorful characters, there are interesting people, there are true entrepreneurs, they're visionaries, so I love working with them. I think it's a nice counterbalance to the conservatism that we sometimes find on the pension funds. So I like both ends of the spectrum.
I think the biggest lesson I've learned sounds a lot simpler than it is to execute, but that is to listen and to ask questions. When I've had the opportunity to sit across from some of the most successful people in our business, what I've noticed is that they don't talk a lot about themselves. They try to learn from others. So that has made a huge impact on my career. And while it's not always easy to do, it's that ability to sit and listen and to learn that I think has had the biggest impact on my career.